Welcome back to another episode of Music is My Mantra. Today I have a very special guest, Veronica Torres, on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining.
So good to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. You're the reason why I'm in this awesome space.
Oh, yes.
Jamtasia.
Jamtasia. This has had many of blood, sweat, and tears in here of all of our music, and a lot of fun too, I'm sure. I'm glad that you're in this space though.
It's serving me well.
Yes.
Yeah. So for all of you who don't know Veronica, she goes by V. Torres. She is a singer-songwriter, a guitar aficionado, guitar player, super incredible artist.
Cute.
And her lyrics are really grounded in truth and storytelling, and she aims to uplift and inspire people through her songs. So yeah. And I also noticed that today you're drinking Two Guns coffee, which I think is the first place that I met you, actually.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
It had a great vibe because it was like had a porch vibe to it. It was very cool. Yeah.
And there's actually parking, which is sometimes hard to find.
Especially in the South Bay. We
Yeah.
had the parking. Yeah. We'd be able to cruise in, get our coffee,
Yeah.
sit down.
I actually worked there when I first moved here.
No way.
Yeah. I was like, I just need any job I could find, and they were hiring.
That's amazing.
And it was like a 3-minute walk from my apartment. So
I feel like that was like the first kind of cool coffee shop that came to town. Like we had obviously some great coffee shops like Jolly Man's Historical and Hermosa, but like I think Two Guns was this more like mom and pop, like
yeah,
like really
branded
coffee. Good coffee. Yeah.
They didn't even have Wi-Fi because they just wanted to encourage conversation, which totally worked
cool
for them.
And they had really good food too. Like the breakfast sandwiches.
So
good. Yeah.
The sandwich.
Yes. That was I used to go there a lot.
Yeah.
And now they're all over. So
Yeah.
I stopped at the one over here. But yeah, I love supporting them. That's so cool that you work there. My first job was at a coffee bean
Oh, nice.
back in the day in Redondo Beach on Avenue I. And I think working at a coffee shop is kind of a cool thing because you learn about
so many
coffee,
people.
you meet people and you chat. And
I had like multiple job opportunities that came just through the people that I met.
totally.
From it.
It's really cool people. And like, it creates a really like safe and like environment to like just for conversation and discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and I did really enjoy learning about like what makes a proper espresso.
Me too.
Like all of that.
Coffee snob now, unfortunately.
Totally me too.
I have my own espresso machine now, and all my friends make fun of me. But I'm like, I'm specific about my coffee.
I've like switched to matcha because if I make it at home, I just get like I'll make it so strong that I'm like jittery all day. Like, but I definitely am still. If I go to a spot, then I'll get like a flat white or something.
Yes.
Just a little
Cortado
boost.
is my favorite. Yeah. I love coffee so much. So yeah, it stayed with me.
Yeah.
When I was at Coffee Bean, I would like make all the drinks and then save a little for myself. So by the end of my shift, I was just kind of like shaking.
Oh my gosh,
but
yes.
Back when I could handle it. Now it's like 1 cup and that's it.
Right. I don't feel like jittery for the rest of the day.
Totally. Yeah. I love matcha too, though. Matcha's good.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit of caffeine in it. So
Yeah.
kind of gets you.
Some of them are like more caffeinated than espresso.
Oh, yeah.
Like depending on how they make it and stuff.
Yeah. And there's some health benefits from matcha. And it's green. So you're like, something good is
Right.
good.
Green. Well, you grew up here in the South Bay.
Yes.
Hermosa Beach.
I actually grew up in Harbor City. So over a little bit inland, kind of by San Pedro. Do you know where that area is? Yeah. So like Torrance.
It's like the sardine before.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my first gig ever was in San Pedro at a coffee shop called Sacred Grounds. And it was a whole like really cool vibe back in the day. And it still is. I think it's still there. But they had like shows where like big names would come and just play outside.
Nice.
And play inside. Like they just had like, I think that was my first experience of like a cool venue. Of like, wow, this is so neat. So
Yeah. Where there's community.
totally.
Not just, it's not super transactional. Like
Yeah.
you actually get to meet people and
Totally. Yeah. And for me, like Harbor City was a little bit away from the beach. So it's like growing up just in that area was just more like city and like a little more, it wasn't like the beach, palm trees, like sunshine. It was still sunny, but it felt different.
Yeah.
Being just like a few miles inland and then getting to escape to the beach to be like, okay, I'm going to go to the beach now. But
Yeah.
it was a great place to grow up for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's one of your first memories of music.
Oh, wow. I think one of my first memories was, so fortunately, my parents loved music. They weren't musicians themselves, but they had a really really big and interesting record collection. And we had like a record player when I was little. So I can remember being like a very small child, like probably like 4 or 5, and like sitting in the kitchen while they're cooking and they're putting on records. And so I always thought that was the coolest thing to like see this big, you know, huge thing with like this picture. And I would always look at the pamphlet and like read the lyrics and stuff.
The album art. Oh,
I just kind of look at it as a kid. And so like when they would, my mom was more of a aficionado of like singer-songwriter folk.
Cool.
So like Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, she loved Leon Russell. And then my dad was more of like psychedelic, like desert vibes. So he's, you know, the Led Zeppelin, and he loved Moody Blues. Just there was such a random collection. He loved funk. So there was just all this stuff. So just being a little kid and just remembering, you know, they put a record on and like that experience that I try to do now as like an adult. I have a record player and I actually inherited their collection. So I'm so lucky.
It's amazing. The best of both worlds.
So sometimes I'll do that, but it doesn't happen often, right? Like normally you're just putting on, you know, Spotify or whatever, but it's like I try to create that because those are good memories. You have to listen to the whole thing. Right? You sit there and you put it on and you just let it play.
It's such an experience and then you have to flip the album. You know, so it's like there's a whole interaction with it, whereas like with streaming, I mean, I'll sometimes just put a song on repeat or like it just random shuffle and you're just like, you don't know what you're gonna get.
And sometimes with me with streaming, like I'll get in a mind zone where I just can't even listen to the whole song, and now I'm like looking for something else. And I hate that
what's next
feeling sometimes. So I try to kind of go back to that like idea of it sometimes when I can, like if I'm cooking or if I have time to like do that. It doesn't always happen, but that's a good memory. So I think I can't remember exactly what song, but I just remember them like, you know, kind of arguing over, well, I want to listen to my music, you know, pick whatever they want to hear.
So it was definitely ingrained in you.
I like, they listen to good stuff, and I think that just shapes you like as a person. If you like remember the stuff that you listened to as like a kid, it like totally makes you who you are today. Like it's really cool to think about that. And
definitely.
So it's like 60s, 70s, like rock and folk, and then like grunge music and hip hop for me. So those are the things that like I listen to.
Was the grunge and hip hop, was that also from your parents or just like from growing up? And
so like growing up, my mom actually, she's still like, shout out to my mom. She was really cool with music. Like she bought tapes and cassettes and CDs of like all the grunge artists that I, you know, started to really love. And probably when I was in grade school, like that's what I was getting. I was listening to K-Rock, but I was listening to Power 106 too. Because I loved hip hop too. And I played basketball growing up. I was a big basketball player before any music happened. So that was, you know, influenced a lot of what I listened to as well.
That hip hop and basketball are like
kind of what you listen to, you know, before you're warming up for a game. And, you know, my friends were all into it. So
cool. Nice. When did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar when I was 11, and I remember being like seeing like a Nirvana, and I used to have my parents tape like the Late Show or whatever when there was a musical guest, because we didn't have cable. We just had regular TV, and so I'd be like, can you like tape this for me tonight, because I want to watch it. And so
it's funny,
I would watch.
We do the same thing.
Really? Yeah. It's like that's what we had to do. We didn't really have like YouTube to like look everything up without aging us, but it's totally. Like you tape that stuff and you watch it the next day and just be like, God, this is so cool. And then I remember seeing Nirvana, and I was like, I want an electric guitar. I want to play. I want to learn. And at first I got like, me and my sister got these little like Ethan Allen toy guitars to start with. I'm left-handed, but I play guitar right-handed. My poor sister's left-handed, but plays left-handed. So she was trying to play a right-handed guitar, and we took lessons. And I remember taking lessons and with her and a couple other kids from our school, and it was just like so fun. I was like learned, like I think a Pearl Jam song was the first song I learned.
Cool.
And then eventually when I stuck with it, my parents got me that for Christmas, the Stratocaster that was like $100. You get like the guitar, the case, and the amp. And I would just like plug into that amp and just turn and just like be so loud and annoying.
That's so awesome.
Like when I was 11, I started, but I kind of stuck with it. But I played basketball like really seriously in high school. We were like state champs.
Nice.
I thought that was where I was headed
Yeah.
in college, and I just decided that I was done with that because it got really political and like really just overwhelming even at that level in high school, and I just really wanted to like have an experience in college and kind of just break away from that, see what else was out there. So I went back to the guitar. So I went to actually ended up going to LMU, and there was an open mic night there that was like pretty popular. So I kind of like just dusted it off. I had all this free time from, you know, not being an athlete anymore.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, what do I do with myself? You're so used to that regimen and that routine.
Yeah.
And I was dating someone at the time that was a guitar player, singer-songwriter. And so we would kind of push each other to like write songs and like play them at the open mic.
Nice.
That was like cool.
Yeah.
So really got into it again when I went back to college. So when I went to college, so probably around like 17. And I remember performing for the first time again, or for the first time ever. I think I did it late high school, and just being so nervous and like shaking and just, it was just like
Were you singing at that point too? Or
I was singing too.
Okay, yeah.
I just remember being like so scared and like, but also very thrilled and like, there's something here. I just need to work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally can relate to that.
Yeah.
And I think having a guitar, I was able to channel my energy a little bit into that. I don't know if you've felt similar, but when I first had my high school debut singing without a guitar, it was just, my mouth would get dry, like sweaty, and
just like you don't know what to do with your hands. Yeah, I totally feel that way too, because there's something about like an acoustic guitar that gives you a little bit of resonance too, and you can feel the note that you're playing better and kind of like harmonize with the guitar.
Yeah,
versus you know, acapella. Yeah. I've done acapella things, and when I was first starting out, I'm like, gosh, this is, you know, it's hard. So it's like,
if you don't have a reference.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, the guitar just feels, it's healing too. Once you start playing it, you just kind of like go into a space.
Yeah.
To zone out a little bit.
That's really cool. You had that support too from the person that you were dating.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
sure that helped.
It was like my first relationship ever. And it was just kind of fun to like both play and just be like, okay, what'd you write this week? You know, there was like that accountability.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, we both were just like, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But it still like kind of pushed me to like want to do it
and keep working at it.
Yeah, definitely. And and going to shows and listening to music and just being so in that world of like, oh man, I just love this.
Yeah.
I love the energy that I'm feeling when I'm playing and when I'm writing, and being able to share true experiences and just feelings with people that, you know, they're feeling too. You know, we're all connecting on this level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just fell in love with it.
Cool. And so you have one album out.
Yes, I do.
Do you have
I do.
a bunch of singles also?
I have some singles too. Yeah.
And you've been working on a brand new album.
Yes, I have. I've been working on a new one.
Yeah. So before we jump into that, I want to go back to this journey. So through college, you kept going. Like, when was there a moment where you're like, I'm going to start recording this? Or like, was that kind of the goal?
Yeah. Like, I feel like anything else, it was just a hobby in the beginning, and it was just fun. And, you know, it was kind of like the thing I did, like, you know, oh, this is just like something cool that I do, or whatever. You know, for me, it was like, I get antsy if I'm just sitting around. I need to have like stuff to do. I love it. I love being able to have a community around me. Yeah. And like talk to a bunch of people. It just fills my cup.
And it's like you're being creative. So like double
creativity is there. Yeah, I guess it's like that. Like my I have like a big imagination, and like I need to create. And if I'm not able to create, you know, I can get like sad. And so it was a good opportunity for me to like do that. And that's kind of what it was for a long time. Like, this is my creative outlet. And as I was in college, I kept writing. I mean, I wrote a lot. Like, I probably wrote like 100 songs the first year, like my freshman year. And they were just coming out. I was really working on my guitar work because I loved like I liked when a song had like interesting guitar parts to it as well. And I didn't have a band at the time, so I was trying to make it, interesting on the guitar too. And
Cool.
Knowing it's going to be kind of like this acoustic-y sort of thing.
Just you.
Just me.
For that time being.
Yeah, for that time being. So it felt like, I almost felt like felt like kind of like beach rock music or something. Inspired by like, back then, like, like Jack Johnson and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And as I kind of started doing it more and more, I was playing those open mics. I started getting offered to play shows. And I think when that starts happening, you're like, okay, so I'm doing something cool, I guess, that people like.
Yeah.
And now I'm asked
compliment.
to play a show.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy. So that started happening. And someone that I went to school with at LMU was dating a music attorney. And he was a little bit older, and he heard some of the music, and he said, I think you have something here. And he was also like new producers, and he was in the business. And so he's like, I think you should record it,
Nice.
And I actually, prior to that, I was actually in like a church band too.
Okay.
And the person that was like the MD for that band was basically like, because I grew up Catholic, and so I went to Catholic school. And so being in, that kind of helped me like play in front of people too, like being in a church band and stuff.
I also was in a church band growing up, and like through high school and everything. Because
It's super musical. It's
like I always would beg my mom for singing lessons. She's like, "Well, we can't afford them, but you can sing at church." I'm like, "Okay." So that was like her way of getting me there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my family went. I'm more spiritual now than religious, but as a kid, we would go to church every Sunday. Yeah, so. I figured, well, at least I can like play music, while I'm there or whatever. Yeah. And it was fun. And I had a really great musical director that he actually recorded me just playing a bunch of the songs that I had. And so that was my first experience of recording. Yeah. And I think that little CD that I made, I passed it out to everyone in college. And I think that's how that music attorney heard it. He heard that first. And then he said, you should really like think about actually recording these in a studio. And so things kind of progressed in that way.
Yeah, just because like you loved it, so you just were.
Yeah, just kind of going for it. And I ended up like working with a real producer after that, and recorded like an EP.
He connected you with some good people.
Yes. And yeah, it was just really cool to like make something. Yeah. I made CDs. I was playing like the Sunset Strip venues.
Yeah.
Playing the Roxy and the Viper Room. And like, it was just cool to be like doing that at that time and being like, this is just something I love. And want to be a part of. And that just kept kind of unfolding from there.
Cool.
Started a different band, and it was like an alt rock band, and we did a lot. We were called Gorgeous Got a Gun, and it was like real fun. We were really serious about making it, and but it taught me a lot, and it was neat. So then I finally kind of came back to my name, and so that's how we're here. Released an EP called Real Life Love in 2017.
Yes.
And then a bunch of singles. And now we're at a place where we have a new record on the heels.
Which is a huge, huge deal. So before we jump into that, because I definitely want to like pick your brain about your new songs, what was the decision for you to make another record? Because I know like a lot of artists today are just doing like singles, and the industry has changed so much like since we started, like even in the past 10 years, 15 years. Wow. So what's the inspiration there?
To go back to a record. Yeah. I really think every time you want to record something, it's sort of like what's going on at that time for you personally. And I think you're totally right. This industry has changed phenomenally in so many ways. And I think for a while I was doing the singles thing because I couldn't really like afford to do a full-blown record the way I wanted to do it. And I wanted to kind of have a consistent drop of something going on. Yeah. And so I started like doing that. But then I realized that I was like, why am I, this is just stuff that was coming up for me. I was writing the song, I was recording it quickly, and then I was releasing it. But it felt right at that time to do that. Yeah. And I think that's just kind of how it goes, It depends on where you're at and what you want to do. Sometimes you write a song and you're like, I love this. I want this to be out. And I don't really want to change it. I think it's good. Or, maybe I'll work it out with the band for a little bit. But I'm going to record it. I'm going to record it live, and we're just going to like get it out. Yeah. And sometimes that's like the most beautiful thing, because I think some songs...
You don't have to overthink it. It's like...
Yeah. And I think when you write certain songs, you're like, this is this is a song. You kind of already know sometimes. For me, it's like when I write a song quickly and I just know that it's a good one, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Yeah. So that is like great to do. And I think most of my career, I guess in the past, I've been in studios, but you don't have a lot of time. You're just like, okay, we're going to get in, we're going to record this in a week.
Yeah. It's like,
and that's all I can afford.
Yeah.
And
great.
This like, producer's going to mix it, and that's all I can afford. And it kind of just gets done, and you know, you like it and it's done. But I felt that there was like a journey of songs for me that were happening, that I wrote some maybe a couple years prior to 2021, maybe. So I wrote some during this journey, and they just felt like songs that I wanted to take my time on and do pre-production for and record the way that, like, in a studio with real instruments, and take the time to give it the life that it needs to have. And so it was funny because I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know that it would be a record until I started kind of doing it. And then I'm like, okay, this feels like a record, because it feels like a body of work that is kind of related and deserves to have a platform to stand on. And I kind of just did that single thing, and it was kind of during COVID that I was dropping singles, like right before, I would say, like 2018, 2019, and I had this whole plan. And then I think 2020 happened, and I was like, it kind of messed up my timing on everything, and it got weird, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. And I just started releasing the rest of them, and I'm like, the timing is never gonna be perfect, right? And it's never gonna be like this. You can have a goal and you have a plan, but you kind of have to surrender to like what it is. And so this is
like I've learned that the hard way.
It's so hard. I mean, as a creative person, like, and especially I'm a Virgo, and I'm like, same, type A.
Yeah. So many times I'm like, okay, one a month, like I have a whole schedule for the whole year.
And you're like, this. So for me, it's been a big lesson on just letting go and letting it be divine timing for me, because so much has happened in this process. And that's part of like me being like, okay, together. It's going to be a record, but like, I don't know when this is going to actually be done at this point, because it needs to take the time. It needs to take time to like happen now. So,
well, so for people who are listening that don't know what pre-production is, maybe you can talk a little bit about how that process was for you.
Yeah. So I think this is probably like one of the first times that I've done a big pre-production. And pre-production is work that you're putting in before you're actually moving into recording the actual record. So
the final,
before you're doing the final product. So you're making demos, and you're cutting demos, and you're, you know, working on sounds, and you're working on shaping a song into like what it's supposed to be in a way. And I worked with a producer that I've been friends with for like 18 years, and we've been wanting to work together, and he's really amazing. His name is Steve Aguilar. He's a huge, famous keyboard player, but he's also like a very brilliant producer and music director. And he was in my old band, Gorgeous Got a Gun, for a while, and we always talked about, we shared a similar taste in music. And I think, honestly, when you share like a taste and a vibe in music with a producer, it's so helpful to work with someone that you guys agree on that stuff.
So you'll share more of a similar vision.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, the stars just didn't align for us to work together for a while. And he is big on pre-production. He does it for all of his productions. He makes a demo first. And so I knew going in, working with him, like, we're going to do this. It's going to take time, and we're going to, but so doing that pre-production work.
So you're kind of just experimenting, right? Like finding the song, the sounds that resonate, or the guitar tones, or like
knowing how you're wanting to record it. Like, are we using real drums? And if we are, like, what kind of tones are we going for? What records are we listening to that we want to emulate for sounds? And spending that time. And then, you know, I'm coming in, cutting the song with an acoustic guitar, and we're just hearing the song. And then we're coming up with ideas of like, where does this go, you know? And he's kind of cutting a demo around it. Usually I'll make a demo first and send it to him, and then we'll kind of record a little bit and then kind of take it from there. And so doing that for the first time really flushed out the music.
That's awesome.
In a cool way, where I was able to, like, I'll say too, this studio that we're in used to be my rehearsal space as well. Shout out, Evan. I had written a lot of these songs and had a band at the time, and we were rehearsing here and playing a lot. And it was such a cool, it was one of those moments where you have a band for a temporary amount of time that just clicks and works, and you're having fun and you're just like experimenting with the music a little bit. So I was able to kind of play it live for a year and just get feedback.
That's so huge.
Which I feel like is a part of pre-production in a way.
I think that's probably the most pre-production that I've done. It's like fleshing them out live.
Yeah, because you don't always get to that time.
Yeah.
Or the opportunity to play with a band that kind of, even to this day, they don't know it yet, but some of the recording that we did, because I brought that band into the studio and we played everything live and recorded it just to get an idea of like where we're at with the project at that point.
Yeah.
And there are certain things from that first day that we kept, certain little parts that some of the band members in that band did. So it'll be a good surprise when it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long were you in that process, just thinking, okay, here's what we want? Like, because, at some point, like, I know that in pre-production, you will keep things on the final record, right? So, like, was there a time where you're like, okay, now we're going to go back in and record things? Or was it kind of just very naturally?
It was like the demos happened, we made. And at that point, I was like, these sound good enough to maybe just be the songs. But now I look at that and it wasn't. But it felt good to be like, wow, this is a step up from what I've done. And this is a demo. And so once the demos were done, we booked studio dates. And then we re-recorded like everything to kind of emulate the demo live, but obviously a lot changed. So we did take a moment to like pivot from, we're done with demo land.
Cool.
And you have demo-itis and you're just like stuck in the sound, and then you go and record in a studio, and then you're like, oh, these other things are happening now.
Yeah.
So you get used to this evolution of the song.
Cool.
But so we totally just re-recorded every part.
Awesome.
Which was kind of fun too, because it reminded me of the old days of going into a studio, booking time, and having a drummer come in, having a bass player come in. And I was fortunate to have like really amazing players play on the record too.
Cool.
So that process of just, getting these amazing musicians to come in and just cut the tracks like pretty quick, and just being like, okay, this is good.
It's magic.
Yeah. That's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But it took a while, to get all the actual recording done. I wanted to support local, because we have a lot of friends, in this industry that I wanted to like use their studio and pay them. And instead of, going somewhere else with people that I don't really know and I'm paying for the time, I wanted it to feel a little more like at home. And
there's so much talent and resources
really is,
here in the South Bay.
I know, things that people don't know. Yeah. So I went to Hermosa Sound Lab in Hermosa to record a lot of the parts of the record. So Alex and Claire Lockwood own that spot. They're good friends of mine, and he was an amazing engineer. He has got amazing gear in there, and like every time I would come in, he knew what we were recording that day. He would have it all set up and be like, this is why I'm doing this, and just helped out so much process. So that was really cool to just kind of be able to not have to drive to Hollywood every day and get in the car and get stressed out before you get there and
fight the traffic, fight for parking.
Go to Malibu. I recorded in Malibu like when my old band, and we would drive at like 7 or 8 p.m. and record kind of overnight. Come home at like 6 a.m. And I just remember being like, this is a lot. It's cool. We're going to Malibu. We're doing this, but it was like, there's no way I could do that
at the end of the day.
There's no way, and then go to work the next day. So it was neat to be like local. And Kevin Sousa, who passed away. He's a big music community, part of the music community in South Bay. And Shag is Steve Aguilar. Shag is his nickname. He was working with Kevin on a record, and this was like during COVID 2020.
Okay.
And so I had gone in to sing backups on a song and just saw the process of like what they were doing, and it really like clicked in my head, like I want to do this again. I want to go and flesh out songs and like give it time and space, because I will be the person that's like, this has to get done, or this is the next step, or whatever. So letting go of that.
Virgo, gotta stick to that.
Oh my
timeline.
God, it's hard, you know?
Totally.
Because you're just, you know, it's in you to like work. And so it's like, okay.
Or like just to push something out, just to have it out instead of really like
Instead of letting it be what
life.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's been such a blessing to just let it be what it is and let the timing be what it is to make it the best thing it could be, you know? Yeah.
Well, so the new album, it's called Woman.
It's called Woman, yes.
And it's 7 tracks?
7 tracks, yeah. Woman is one of the tracks. It's a song I've been playing for a while. Really love that song. And I think this whole record is sort of an evolution of me with, you know, songs from years ago where I went through a lot of life transitions, and it just feels like a really strong basis to shape the woman that I am today in a lot of ways. So I felt like that, you know, was probably the best name for it. Yeah.
It's a really cool song.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to hear the recording because I just got to see it live with your band.
Yeah.
Project Barley.
That was fun. That was a really special show. I'm so glad you were there.
Yeah.
It was fun to like, I mean, we haven't really been playing out a lot because it's still in process and I'm trying to get it done. And as you know, like when you start to take things on the road and play shows, it's a whole nother ballgame that you're throwing yourself into. So you want it to
like, how do you translate then from like the final product to the live show?
Yes. Yeah. And you know, like I think my music it sits in a place somewhere between, you know, I put it in an umbrella of like indie rock, but it's, you know, has like moments of Americana and it has moments of pop and, you know, moments of like harder rock. So it's kind of like translating the sound from the record to live is going to be a little bit of a journey to figure out what that is too, because it can kind of lean in different directions.
There's so many options for doing that.
Yeah. Playing with tracks or, you know.
Which I've never been a fan of, but I know I've seen how it can be done.
Yeah.
Well.
I feel you. I think it depends on, you know, like what it is. And we've done it a few times and it has like helped, you know, the band be really tight and like it sound like the record with certain parts. But I am a fan of like being able to be a little looser and like going to a jam if you want to and feel a little less constrained.
Like where you're playing too. Right?
Totally. And the sound and all those things, the venues you're playing. Yeah.
Well, that song definitely stood out to me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And as a woman myself, it was, you know, it's relatable. It's totally.
Yeah.
I think that was a strong choice for the
Thank you. Yeah.
title track.
It's a part of it's like, you know, my work never ends. It just starts over and over again. And I think that's just like how life feels sometimes, probably for everybody, but especially for women. And, you know, when I'm working and I'm doing this thing and that's just what it is. And I'm going to continue to do that. But, you know, I'm tired and I want to talk about that too, you know. Kira Lingman plays guitar on the record and she's an amazing guitar player.
Such a great
and she adds a lot of cool vibes to the record and her rhythmic guitar playing and her leads, just especially in that song, she wrote a really interesting guitar line for the chorus that's just become such a cool, like you want to like rock out when you listen to it. So
feel it.
Yeah.
I love how she said at your show, like I wrote all of these parts and now I have to go back and like see what I wrote, you know, because that's like, that to me is so real. Like when you're in the moment and you just really don't even know what's coming out, but then you're like, wait, I played that? Like
there was a part where one of the songs that I've never played a wah pedal before.
Oh, nice.
And I recorded a wah pedal like in the moment and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it sounded cool and it's on the record now. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, but like I don't know who's gonna play it live. Maybe I'll learn it again.
It's
but
like those
little things that happen,
or accidents, I guess.
Totally.
Not mistakes, but
little happy accidents, little sonic flares. Like you just forget that are in the song, and you're like, oh, that's so cool.
But they probably they add so much. Like
totally. Like all the layers and it's really cool.
There was another song about going to the desert and learning that your died in your Airbnb or something. Like that was wild.
Oh my gosh, this song, it was crazy. So this is a true story. And The song is called Slow.
Yes, it's all
More of a
coming back to
heavy
me.
rock song.
I really love that song too.
Thank you. I feel like it's a cool, it feels like heavy rock, but also feels like psychedelic and like vibey and deserty.
Definitely
And
deserty, yeah.
basically, I was
fitting
in the
for the
desert.
story.
Yeah, going actually at the time to meet some folks at Pappy and Harriet's to try to get a gig out there. And
Which is a really awesome venue in Joshua Tree, by
very
the way.
cool place.
Yes.
Yeah, we should play there. That'd be fun.
South Bay Takeover.
Yeah. And I stayed at Airbnb, and it was like, you know, five stars, like all great. It was a old Airstream, like, and it was decorated all 70s, super cute, awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, overnight in the morning at 6 a.m., it was raided, the entire property, by the police. And so you're waking up to
It's so crazy.
guns drawn on you and being like, what happened? Where did I go wrong in my life to be in this moment right now? But they were looking, they had a search warrant to look for a body. And so it was later revealed that they were looking for a person. Oof. And it was super just so sad and like just so scary. And honestly, like they ended up finding the person like months later. So you could like, this is like no.
Okay.
Like the remains. Like, I'm just like, it's so like, it was tragic. Yeah. And I just can't believe it happened. And it like just brought up all these emotions in me of like just being like, what the actual hell just happened?
Yeah.
And like, it's scary, you know, life can just go so quick and you just don't know what's going to happen, you know? And so I started writing a song a little bit about like, you know, what's good and what's bad and where's the gray area in that, and kind of painting the picture of this like desert town. And it just, I don't know, it was totally inspired by that weird event that happened. It was, I just can't believe.
Yeah.
So I got sketched out for a while to stay at Airbnbs. So even to this day, I'm pretty like,
I guess it could happen to any kind of like a spot. But Airbnb just seems like it's a little more personal and maybe too personal.
movie. Yeah, it felt like a total movie. Yeah, so that was crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but I do like the song.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where some of the best songs come from. Some of the craziest moments.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's wild.
God for music.
Yeah, thank God for music.
To process all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I wrote later in the process of like kind of, you know, I had some songs. I thought I might do like an EP at first instead of a record, but then I just started writing these other songs and I'm like, I really think they are part of this thing, you know?
Cool.
And one of the last ones I was writing was the song called I Know Nothing, and it was a very slow song and like a very stripped down song, but just kind of talking about, you know, I think as we age and go through things, we realize that, you know, all those things that were so important to us before or that we were worrying about, you know, kind of don't matter. And like what really matters is the present moment and just like defining your own success and like what does that look like. And so this song was kind of about like just thinking about my past like 5 years and just being like, you know, I really know nothing, because the older I'm getting, the less I know, because you think you know so much and you think you know what's good for you, and
there's just more and more to
that.
Discover.
And so as you get, you know,
that's rare wisdom.
So that was, I was almost going to call the record that at first, but yeah, I just think that song is like a testament to just being like, okay, we're always trying to uncover and go back to the start of things of like what before we got this fog aware ahead from whatever it was or whatever structures we were in. And yeah, so I wrote that one kind of later, and it just felt like a nice ender to the record. And
cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one? I'm sure that's like
now it's
question.
like you listen. I've listened to him so much. I'm like, I'm over it. No.
Or like any other stories that like really you just knew had to be a part of this body of work.
Yeah, I guess I had an older song kind of around the woman time that was called Great Escape, and I've been playing it out a bit, and it's kind of, it turned into like kind of this epic song in a way. It's longer and it goes on a journey, like it has a really big tempo change, and it is like, I wrote it right after I got divorced in 2017, which I think at that show was the first time I really talked about that on stage.
I did want to ask you about that.
Yeah. And it was just like a time when you're just so locked into, you know, your life and your routine and like who you're with and their family. And, you know, we got to a place where it was working for the time that it did, and then it just wasn't. And I think when you're married to someone, and you can even just be in a relationship, but married is like you're unwinding and you're dismantling like a marriage, and that's a hard thing to go through, and you know, a legal process, and there's all these like things that are just very intense about it. And I remember writing Great Escape, kind of one of those songs that came out quickly from me, and just feeling like this song is like kind of like this desperation moment of like, I know that this isn't the right thing for me, and I know that I've needed to get out of this, but also there's been such a journey in figuring out like, how is that going to happen? And I don't want to hurt people, and I don't want them to hurt me, and I don't want to feel lonely. And it was just kind of like that acceptance of like, you're going to feel lonely for a while, and you're not going to have that community around you. Because I was, you know, young at the time, and, you know, not a lot of your friends are going through the same stuff. And so it's like, you know, feeling that like, you know, I just feel so alone, and I don't know how to get out of this place. And knowing that, you know, it will end, and it is temporary, but kind of
like big
changes, and really just like, because I think my ex at the time we were separated, and he had reached out to me and said, you know, do you know what today is? And I'm like, I don't, and I didn't know what it was. And he's like, it's 6 months since we've, you know, been separated to the day. And I didn't know that. And it was kind of like this time warp for me in my head. And I thought, wow, this is something that is obviously, this person is really thinking about this date and this time and the time we've spent apart, and so am I. But at the same time,
very different way.
The way we experience time is so different. So it's just kind of talking about that, and knowing that that moment in time will soon pass. But it's just, you know, it's a hard thing to go through. It changes you in a lot of ways as a person, to kind of look back at yourself and like, what's going on? Who am I? What do I want? You know?
Because I'm sure like you never expected that. You know, it's like, I don't think anybody ever does when they get married. It's like, they're in it for the long run.
Well, you're with that person, and you're doing this thing, and I think it's like anything else. Like a lot of relationships that you have with friends and lovers, it's like they come and they go, and they might be here forever, they might not. And it's like being in that place of just accepting the fluidity of life, and just like knowing that, you know, with a closed hand, I'm not gonna receive a lot. It's like, if I'm open to like allowing people to come and go from my life, like it's gonna be a much better place for myself and them, you know? I can't hold on to anything. And that's like the music too, and your records and your art, and
it's true. And that made me think of this idea where like, if you don't create or put the idea out there, like the idea will come through in some other form. There's a name for it. I don't know what that term is, but you know, so it's like, if you're so precious about sharing something, like you might miss the opportunity to share it in the same way that, or like to be the first, or not that it's, again, a competition, so that's the where I go. But it's, I think when you have a song that just comes through like that, there's so much truth to it. Like, I know I've had a few around like my dad and then different relationships, you know, and it's like, it almost is like the song wrote itself. You know,
totally.
And like, now you have this moment to look back on, and also it sounds like wisdom for the future. Like, you can always refer back to that moment.
It's like, you know, like you're being the vessel at that point of like things happening and coming out of you. And I think it's so cool to think about it that way too, and have the ability to do that in some way, shape, or form, you know, like some point of creativity. And so that song, it goes into like this big like tempo change. Like, it has like a halftime chorus that when I was writing it, I was thinking about, to bring it back to Nirvana, but I was thinking about how they would have like heavy songs, and then they would have like halftime parts, and they would have moments that were heavy in halftime. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want the chorus to feel like that. And then we jump up to like a really crazy end of the song where it just goes nuts. And it's like, you know, 10 BPM faster than what it was. And it's just like, you're running, you know, just running somewhere in the desert alone, just like screaming, and just going through those places of emotion. And that's why I think I wanted to record it with pre-production too, to just like, how can we make it feel that way, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to kind of get that experience and that change in a song.
There's a time changes are no joke.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like
Yeah.
thinking and planning and to really like do it well and add
keep
the
yourself in that
elements and-
space of the song at the time, and then see where it goes. And
Cool.
it's really cool.
I remember that song now.
Yeah.
But again, like can't wait to hear the final mixes.
I know.
Yeah.
They're getting mixed. It's gone through a couple iterations of people mixing it, and so I think we're in a place now where it's gonna be really great. And again, time will tell. I'm thinking maybe next year, early next year at this point, but maybe sooner. I think content, like what exhausts me sometimes as an artist is like all the content that we have to create for the songs and the videos. And
Totally.
I think it's great and it's necessary, but it's also like a lot, you know, to think about and plan.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've already gone through the process of really like letting the songs mature, it's almost like I could see where you wouldn't want to just put it out. Like you want probably a nice plan to support that.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
And to really like give it the promotion that it deserves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's promotion for my new album.
There we go. But that's not inspiration of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm just really excited. And I think too, like I said earlier, like just I guess we were talking earlier, but defining like your own success in this business and like what is success to you as an artist. And
it's so hard.
Play music and share music. For me, I feel like that's successful. And so it's being able to just share those moments with people and our gifts with the world, you know, that's kind of all you can do.
Would you want to tour with this album release?
I would, yes. I would love
Speaking of sharing.
I would love to tour and I feel like I was playing so much before. And
you used to do cover gigs too, right?
I used to do cover gigs too, yeah. I used to just play like those long gigs, you know, to make some money, which I loved. And I think we all cut our teeth in that way doing that. And then I played a lot with like my bands and like we did tours and we're in places where it was like, okay, we're grinding, you know, and it felt like I missed those days a little bit. And I think like the COVID shift for me was like that kind of stopped in a way. And now I feel like, okay, I'm coming back to this place of like wanting to share that again and do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to work on even being like tour support for an artist that I love and kind of channel that energy and manifest that would be really great too. Yeah.
What would be your top 3 dream artists?
Oh my gosh.
Or even 1 or 2?
I love Jenny Lewis so much.
Oh yeah.
I love her. I love Kylie too. Obviously name my dog that, but I love her music so much and her vibe. I would love to play with her. Love the Heartless Bastards.
Jenny.
If you're listening, Jenny. Heartless Bastards, I don't know if you know them, but
I know the
amazing
name.
band.
Yeah.
And I freaking love Sharon Van Etten so much.
Oh yeah.
I really just like dig her music and Japanese Breakfast. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
There's so many fans that are inspiring.
I do love how I see you out at shows often.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I feel like I haven't really gifted myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's such good. I mean, I'm sure that is a huge inspiration. Just seeing, you know, great people live is always like.
I think for me, I need that because like if I get in a rut with things and I just am uninspired, if I go to a show, it almost doesn't matter who it is. It's any music that I see live.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I really love certain artists and I try to support the tour just because I'm like, even if I don't make it, and I'll tell you, sometimes I just don't go. I have the tickets and I'm like, oh man, I'm too tired. But I try to go because it's like, that's what it's all about. Those moments that you're there.
Yeah.
I just saw the Alabama Shakes in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of the best shows I've seen.
Amazing.
It was so great. But yeah, I do go. You should treat yourself to that. And you can even wait till the day before and buy tickets.
That's
like,
the strategy. That's always been like the barrier for me. I'm like, oh, but it's so expensive.
I know.
But you know,
it is so expensive.
There's ways. I could give it some effort.
Or maybe you pick like 3 a year. Like I'm gonna do 3 a year.
Good
and
goal.
it could be your ones. But yeah, I feel like this year I had a goal of
They're
like,
not always that expensive, but like there's been times where I'm like, do I hit gas or do I?
oh totally.
You know?
Yeah. It's expensive, especially with all the fees and like.
Yeah.
I think even playing, that's the thing about touring that is kind of crazy now too, is that, you know, there's like there's like the Beyoncés of the world who are going on tour and they're in arenas and people are paying the premium price to go see them. And then there's small venues where people are going to shows, but not really because it's so expensive to even like go out and get drinks these days. And that medium tier like has kind of gone away. Like those artists, like they haven't been able to tour because it's like they can't afford it. And it's a super sad problem that we're having right now. And it's creating like, I think, a hinge in the industry of like playing live, because that's how people used to money.
I mean, I was just reading this carousel on Instagram last night. It was like, if you're like a mid-sized country artist and, you know, you're like grossing $100 or $1 million tour, after you pay the agent and you pay all the fees and all the people and everyone, it's like, depending on what route you go, you're looking at like a salary of $50,000.
It's insane. Yeah. It's like, it's just so sad, you know? It's like, I hope people, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. There's things that I hear, but I'm like, I don't really know what the answer is unless
support
the model changes a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought, like, I think it's the All American Rejects. They're doing like the house tour.
That's cool. Yeah.
Or patio show tour or something.
They're going back to. Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do too. Yeah. Like with the studio that we share in Hermosa, there's a studio called The Studio. And I've been doing shows there and, you know, seeing obviously the back end of all that, and you're losing money or if you're lucky, breaking even. Yeah. But at the same time, you're able to create a space and an event that people can afford and support you directly. And so I've been trying to do more of that kind of stuff lately, but it's so much work. It's like a job in itself. So I think it's like creating that environment for you and like playing with the bands that you like that kind of really do vibe with your sound, and you know that the people coming to see you are going to like them. Yeah. Is sort of where I'm trying to do right now in LA, at least. But
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a big difference. Like if you have a hand in the booking, because I know, like, I mean, I used to do the whole Sunset Strip clubs too, and you don't really have a choice for the most part. You're kind of just like thrown in. Yeah. But the times where like you actually get to like select artists, or it comes together more organically, I feel like people then actually stay for more bands. It's not just like they only are there to see you or the other. And I hate that. It's like, if you can, just stay, because it's like it means so much to the other bands. Like,
totally. It's like you're already there.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like weird too, because it's all changed so much in a way that, like, you know, whatever venues were like happening and like having good shows, and it's kind of all shifted around. And so
a lot of venues have closed. And
a lot of venues have closed. It's just sad how that has happened, but
there's also like a lot of new different mixed media venues, I noticed, like the studio.
It's like art, you know, showcasing art and music, and I love that.
A friend of mine played at Scribble over on the east side.
I've heard of it.
And it's like, it started out as just like free mental health resources, but then they would do shows, and then it grew so much that now they have just the venue that's just for shows. They have a little mini art gallery, and it's still like all volunteer to support people
and stuff. I love that. Junior High does that too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's here in the South Bay?
No, that's actually in LA. It's called Junior High, but it's similar.
Cool.
You know, mental health and art and shows, and
I mean,
that's so important.
For sure.
Really, really cool.
I mean, for me,
check out
like,
Scribble.
Yeah. It's cool. It's an intimate space. It's a alcohol-free venue, but they had like super fancy kombuchas you could buy, and like, you know.
So I know, taking away like that bar culture from
it was definitely a listening room
is really nice, because you know, like the old days, you're like playing in bars and it's, you know, you're screaming to be heard and people are drunk, and it's a thing, but it's not really like ideally who you want to be sharing like your songs with, or the environment that you want
like
to be.
These intimate stories.
Yeah, these little babies. You're like, no. So I love when I see like alternative spaces for that.
Yeah.
It's really
Or
cool.
like Project Barley.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, listening. I think they're starting something in the South Bay that's really hitting, and very generous of them. They let the artist keep the door, which is huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
You're able to pay your band, and it's just so important when people understand that this thing is a lot. It's not just us showing up, but there's a lot behind it, and just rehearsals.
Yeah, and like the whole play to pay model. Oh my god,
I know.
Like
that was like when we first started coming up. It's like when I would play the Roxy, it would be like
the thing.
you have to sell these tickets, and you're like, well, if I sell these tickets, I'll be able to play this place, and then you do it a couple times and notice that you're like doing all the work,
right?
And you're like,
oh, and you can keep all the profits after 30 tickets.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, but I sold 32. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, for like that first show,
Seriously.
Yeah.
I remember being young, like when I was going to LMU, and I played it. Maybe it was right after I graduated. I played at the Roxy, and it was one of those nights, and I had gotten everyone to buy a ticket. I had like a party bus organized up there.
Oh, nice.
So we sold it was like sold out.
Nice.
So the Roxy, it's a pretty big, like
it is a big venue.
250, I don't know, 250 maybe.
Yeah, I'd say.
And so I remember giving the booker like a wad of cash and just being like, all right, here you go, and not getting paid.
Jeez.
Yeah. And you're young and you're like, wow. So
we did it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
I guess that's it.
Pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't get pictures, then it's like, no.
Did it happen?
And you sit a photographer.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my gosh, so many things.
Yeah. I think it's really helped me to slow down and think of it less as a business, even though I was initially like so gun-ho about being like, I'm going to treat this like my business so that I'm going to like grow it into a successful, profitable business.
Yeah.
But, really it's like now that I'm able to like play with friends, it's like, oh, I'm seeing how much more meaningful everything is when it's like just letting it happen, and maybe it can still grow into something.
Absolutely. I think your body is in the state of relaxation versus hustle. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we have to have a schedule and work hard and all of that. I agree.
We don't have to, but
we don't have to.
It's built into us.
It's built into these Virgos.
Yeah.
I feel like I think I did that too. Like
Yeah.
I was, it was always a hustle. It was always like, oh, this has to get done, or like we have to do this, or like,
And I was like very adamant about paying all of my friends. I was like, but you're a part of my band.
Yeah.
And then I would like at the end of the day be like, this just cost me $1,000.
Yeah.
Like
it's crazy. I feel that paying the band is super important, and I made a pivot. I mean, I've had bands where we're like part of a band and we're all just playing for fun, and we're playing because we like the project, but I went through so much with so many band members throughout my career, and I think probably, I don't know, when I started this new project in the last couple of years, I just made a pivot that's like, I will pay the band every show. It's just, that's non-negotiable.
But now you have the choice to take shows where you can actually make money, right? To pay the band.
That's true.
I think that was like the difference in when I was first kind of like in it. I was like also doing pay to play, and like there was just no.
And you just get a gig, so you're like, we're gonna play it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make money, but.
Or like we would make maybe $200 for like just kind of minimal, but like for the amount of time of preparation to play like a 3-hour show like that,
it's a lot. Yeah, totally.
So I love that it sounds like everything you're doing from the pre-production to like paying your players and everything is really already elevating you into this like next evolution.
You know what, I appreciate that, and I think too, I saw people do it, and I looked at it and I said, like you said, treating it like a business, but slowing down and taking a step back and just being like, okay, like what's working,
that's very counterintuitive,
what's not,
to slow down and to think about business at the same time,
isn't it? It's like it's interesting, but I think once you start doing that, and you're like, okay, what do I want from this, and like be very specific about it. It does start to elevate you into like what this is, what these songs actually sound like, and like what kind of artists. I think it's hard to find your voice, and it's hard to cancel out all the noise, or, you know, as you're coming up, people are like, you sound like this, or you should be like this,
Everyone
or you should
wants
do
to
this.
reference somebody, but you sound like.
Absolutely. I mean, I've turned down like labels and stuff because they wanted to change the music so much and change me. And it's like, I can't do that. It's just so, and I spent time doing it for sure. And it did not do me well. So it's like,
Sing it out.
you know, and so it's like, now it's kind of like, you know yourself and you know what you want. And when you start to do that, you know, getting the players that you think fit the project that are great, and just, you know, I think that does change the game a little bit.
Like leaning into your vision.
Totally. Yeah. Like just, and I think going to shows, like treating yourself to those concerts and seeing bands, like, is so inspiring in that way to see like, what are they doing? And like, I really like them, and why is that? And you can like see it kind of come to life. And it helps you understand what you want from your stuff, because we're all like inspired by each other.
Yeah, totally.
You know, music is just one iteration of something else.
That's true. That's true. But with a little mix of downloads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I have one question that I always ask every podcast guest
Okay.
on my show. So, is there one or multiple songs that have saved your life or changed your life in some way? I know it's a big question.
It's a big question. Wow. I feel like it's like a tough question because there's so many that have both things, you know. If I think about like, I was thinking about like when I was in college and when I was like in that place of like doing those open mics and like writing a lot, and my style and like my music doesn't necessarily fit into like the genre quite well. And I just remember being like, what is this? And like, I was going to like, I was an accounting major. I started as a theater major, but I changed to accounting because I'm like, how am I going to get a job
like
or like
complete opposite.
make money?
Yeah.
And I remember I was going to like an accounting banquet, and I was with my parents for some reason, and I had just bought Regina Spektor's album, Soviet Kitsch, and we were listening to it because I loved it. And there's a song on there called, it's kind of sad, it's called Chemo Limo, but it's that whole record is just her alone playing piano and then doing things like playing like a stick on a chair.
Oh, nice.
And at the time, she was using her voice as an instrument in a way that made me feel so many different things in her music. Like, it was hip hop, it was like jazz, it was like soulful, it was poppy, and all in one, just her. And so that moment, I remember being like, wow, you can really do so much with your voice and your style, and you can be you and like throw it all in with just like a guitar and vocals, right?
Yeah.
And so I just remember that being like a hinge moment for me of like, wow, like, you should listen to that
so
song.
much
It's cool.
inspiration opening.
Yeah. And there's so many other things I could say. And I just think like in terms of like my musicality and like feeling like, like I could do this. Like that was just like a big moment of like, God, this is so cool if you just write from your heart and like use your voice as the instrument too.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like a whole body experience just with voice if you let it be.
Totally. Yeah. Like this, it's sound baths and things like that. But so that was a big one for me. But there's so many others. I mean, I think the first time I heard Jimi Hendrix with my parents, you know, playing that record, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, I think that one, I just remember just my mind being blown in so many different directions of like, wow. And I would listen to that record over and over again as a little kid. So cool. Anything from that too probably changed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an interesting artist for sure.
Yeah. It's just, I think the blues in it, but then also the rock in it, and then just like the guitar and psychedelics, just the whole thing of that. Anything he did, you're just like, him and Janis Joplin.
So like mesmerizing.
Yeah. I have a painting in my apartment that has their faces on it because they were both like very influential, like as a kid.
Cool.
So
yeah, I definitely went through a Janis phase in my 20s.
did you? Yeah.
And
you still cover some of her stuff, right?
Yeah. I didn't really hear much rock and roll other than, I mean, my dad was into it, but like, it was really my 20s when I was like, oh,
like, wow,
what is this?
Rock and roll.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, and then there was streaming too, so it was just like easier to access music. Whereas like before that, I was buying records. I was paying on iTunes.
Yeah. LimeWire, illegal downloading.
Yeah, there's some of that for sure. I made a few mixtapes back in the day.
That's so fun. The art of the mixtape. That was great.
Yeah, giving them as gifts and stuff.
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah.
I still make playlists like that I'll share with people. You
Yeah.
know, but it's not the same as getting like that physical thing.
Yeah. It made it really easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
sharing.
having me.
Yeah.
It's so great to be here. Appreciate you doing this.
Stoked for your new record and just to, to get to share a little bit more about your story. And yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you for coming on today. And for all of our listeners out there, I'll be sure to link all of V's music, Veronica's music.
Yes,
Check it out. And also, keep an eye out for her new record coming either early new year, maybe the next few
Maybe
months.
something towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's
Just stay
good.
tuned.
Yeah. You just got to follow her and find out.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks so much. You're welcome. And if you found this episode helpful at all, please share it with a friend. And until next week, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yes.